Alright, another ride finished and we're leaving Merimbula. See you, was. See you, mate. See you all. It's good to be back on the bike though, anyway, even with a sore ankle. I just love it, enjoy it. So we're sort of like going a route that someone suggested to me who I met at the MotoGP. And the funny thing is I can't remember his name because he gave me his phone number as well and said probably have a coffee, which probably would be difficult anyway because we've got to move. We've got too much time to waste. Oh, look at that. Oh, beautiful view. South Wales Blues might not be too good.
As we were heading into the Bega Valley towards Candelo, you could see the early morning fog still sitting in amongst the hills.
Yeah. Deer and kangaroo plenty.
Up until that moment, I only spotted some kangaroos in the distance. That should change very soon though.
Oh, look at that. Right, beautiful. Not too dense, so it's okay. Lorikeets, a whole bunch of them. If it gets too dense, then that's no good because look at that. Because obviously you can't see much and animals can hide within the fog.
We then arrived in Candelo, a lovely little country town. From here, we then took the Tantavangalo mountain road, which is mainly dirt and connects to the Mount Dara road. Before hitting the dirt, we could enjoy some twisty bitumen though. This is still the Tantavangalo mountain road, but as you can see, this part is very nice for sports riders as well. A final view of the rising sun behind us.
And we are onto the dirt. Standing up for a while. See ahead better. Standing up, of course. And I find you have more control of the bike because you're leaning forward. Oh, okay. So that kangaroo. Oh, oh. Often where there's one, there's more. There's more there. There's more there.
We were crossing the Tantavangalo Creek a few times, and whenever we did a water crossing, it was on bitumen for a while before it returned to dirt.
More there. Plenty of kangaroos here. I got them there. There's another one there. Haven't seen that many kangaroos in a while. There's another big one. A couple of smaller ones. That's it, boy. Look at that. Quick. So there's one.
As we entered the Southeast Forests National Park, kangaroos became a little bit more rare. And hitting the bitumen would mean that we were crossing another creek. This time McCarthy's Creek, which flows into the Tantavangalo Creek.
Off occasion like a short bit of bitumen where there is a bridge.
And yes, you guessed it, another creek crossing coming up. This time we're crossing 6 Mile Creek, and it's another one that flows into the Tantavangalo Creek. There's a campsite here at 6 Mile Creek, even with a toilet. And shortly after, we're back on the dirt.
Slimy there.
Road conditions were starting to get a little bit more rutted, but soon after the conditions improved vastly, and shortly thereafter we saw why. Another grading operation.
And we are in the open country. Beautiful here. And back on the bitumen. So this is the road we came along with the group yesterday.
You may remember this bridge from my Day 5 video. We are on the Cathcart Road, shortly before Bombala.
I'll fill up a bit further.
We had left Merimbula on an empty stomach, thinking we would get some breakfast along the way, forgetting totally that in New South Wales everything is closed on the weekend apart from petrol stations, and the coffee we got here was terrible.
50 kilometers to McKillops Bridge.
We had taken the Bonang Highway from Delegate, and now we were on the turn-off to McKillops Bridge.
Countryside, yeah.
The cloud formations were absolutely impressive here. The theme of bitumen roads just for border crossings was continuing here.
Yeah. If you turn left there, you get back to the Bonang Highway.
Once again, we were following the Dedic River and riding through the small village of Tubbut here.
Leaf colouring. Quick something.
The scenery here along the Dedic River is quite stunning.
There. Rock face down the river. That's the airfield. Watch where I'm going.
There are numerous creeks like the Accommodation Creek here that flow into the Dedic River, which spills into the Snowy River just north of McKillops Bridge. We have now arrived in the Dedic Valley, which is not far away from McKillops Bridge anymore. There are a few camping grounds along here, and I can imagine that it would be absolutely fantastic staying overnight here. The autumn colors were absolutely amazing, but I can imagine it gets quite cold here overnight this time of the year.
There we are.
We arrived at the rest place where we had our lunch yesterday.
I didn't really want to go here. G'day.
And I finally got to try out the drone a bit more in detail. As you might be able to see, I was trying to get the drone to follow me over the bridge. But like yesterday, the drone had other ideas.
Oh, from McKillops Bridge again. Second time. drone is following me this time.
That's what I thought, at least.
Oh, it's in front of me.
Well, let's try that again. Hooray! This time it seems to be working.
Try the drone, see if the drone follows me this time. And then I'll try one time if the drone followed me.
And after that success, let's see if we can make the drone follow me along the side. And yes, the drone stuck with me, and even the obstacle avoidance seems to be working quite fine. Okay, final test. Return to its master and land on his hand. I guess we have to practice that a bit more. And here is a footage from the drone's perspective, starting from the initial crossing. And remember, the drone had different ideas from following me. And whilst the drone was right in front of me, I didn't actually realize until I was nearly on the other side. Okay, here's the second attempt of the drone follow me operation. And this time it does work quite beautifully. And here's me maneuvering the drone to the side. And I have to admit, I'm very happy with the result.
So we're climbing up now. And we're sort of like getting across to Jalan Chippy. Look at the river below there. Right. The best guy as well.
Here we go. I had caught up to the riders which we saw down at McKillops Bridge. Not all of them were as observant and accommodating as the first one was. This guy actually hit the accelerator when he saw me coming up from behind. We were lucky that we saw this guy, from a little distance. The views were absolutely stunning once again. At the end, he probably thought he's getting too far ahead of his mates.
Good work, mate.
And then I got to the viewpoint, which I didn't stop at on the way down. How about this for a view? When we got to Walgalmarang, we took the Snowy River Road towards Jindabyne. Before the road turns into the Berry Way in New South Wales, we headed west though on Limestone Road to Omeo. Here we stopped at the High Country Cafe for our first meal in the day. And then we were off towards Mount Hotham and on to Harrietville, where we had booked our accommodation.
Getting up to Mount Hotham. In winter you have to pay an amount here, but not at the moment.
I was stopping at Mount Hotham Resort to give Jono a chance to catch up with me. I was wondering if he would anticipate that and have a look around to spot me.
Of course not.
Well, off I go and chase him down. I really like the views up here. On a clear day you can see for miles into the Victorian high country. And there's Jono. I think by now we were both looking forward to a nice cold drink at the end of the day. In Harrietville, we met Cooley, who had come up, and we went for a meal at the pub.